Okay, hello everyone.
Hello.
My new awesome topic is smiling and thinking of good friends who are gone. So my question is, look, wait, go back.
There's an arrow there, Abdul, on the screen.
Oh, all right. Oh, this one.
No, it's gone now. I don't know what happened.
So, do you sometimes miss your friend? I don't know why I ask this question, but of course we miss our friend. That's why it's part of our humanity. That's how we feel in our heart. Like, you miss someone, someone missed you, so that's the part. But the real question is, how often do you contact with your friend? So, Catalina, could you please?
Of course, every day.
Oh, okay.
Not very frequently, but twice a week.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so in this topic they are talking about friend and how they contact each other and while he's gone. So I break my presentation into 3 parts. So the first part is how he met his friend, and the second part will be how he helping his friend, and the third one is text messaging his friend. So at the beginning, how he met his friend. So he was sitting in a bar and he saw a Korean guy, a teeny tiny Korean guy with like, I'm sorry, it's not criticize you, but I want the throat, and it's with a teeny eye and with a soft voice. So start talking with him, and then they found like something in common between them, like I think the city, they found something in common, so they start to talk with each other and they become friends. But they didn't become like a real friend because they met at the bar. They become real friend when he helped his friend, because when they back at school and he met his friend, and his friend is named Chris. But the writer name, I really didn't know his name, I couldn't find.
Neil.
Neil? Okay, so Neil. And he met his friend Chris. So Neil was going to his school, but it was raining and windy, so he went to his school and he was all wet. So Chris saw him and he said, I can get you a ride by car while I'm going home. So in 2 years and a half, Chris drove Neil from house to his school and from his school to his house, and also Neil was like offered him money for gasoline and Chris was refused that. And there's some people heard Chris is driving Neil at school, so there's some people also said we want Chris drive us, and Chris also accept that. So that's where Neil and Chris they start build their relationship and they start to be like more good friends. So they decide to have a road trip. There's Neil and Chris and their friend Tay, I think his name is Tay. So they were traveling, but they found Chris all the time at his cell phone, texting, contacting his friend. And all the time they said like, and they play a game like, if they want like to a nice view, and while Chris is texting, they will take a shot of him. So all his picture is while he's texting with all the view. He was all contacted with his friend. Neil says that they were like talking 4 or 3 times a week, and for like 15 or 20 minutes, and sometimes they talk for like 1 hour. And Chris told him about what he did for his friend who invited in his house, or what he did in his house. So Neil started to like have a good relationship with Chris through texting and talking all the time. But unfortunately, Chris died. So Neil, he really missed his friend Chris, but also he's happy because his friend was all the time in contact with him. They were like they had time to speak with each other. They didn't ignore each other. So that's he didn't like regret why I didn't contact with him, because they were all the time contact with each other. So he felt like a little bit satisfied, even though he knows his friend is gone, but also he knows there is no miracle, or there is no way he's going back to life. And he knows Chris very well, and Chris always tell him, enjoy in your life, be happy, and also contact with your friend. So this is the picture of Chris. This is the only picture that I could find without his texting with his cell phone, even though he has his cell phone with his hand, but like he didn't text. So it's like, Chris, it was incredibly awesome, as Neil says. So it's like, he kept contacting with his friend all the time. They didn't ignore him, even though they had like far places, but they still contacting each other. So it's like, I admit it. I am like persons like, maybe I can say it without heart, maybe, because long distance it doesn't work with me at all. So it's like, all my friends in Saudi Arabia, I stopped contacting with him for like 6 months ago. I didn't talk with anyone for a long time. So it's like, it's really hard for me. But when I read this new awesome about Chris, about how he contact with his friend, I found it's really important for me to contact with all my friends that I met in my life, because they are really important for me. And if I still keep contacting with my friend, and even though if I gone, like I can't prohibit, like if anyone gone with you, anyone gone, and he still contact with her friend, like your friend will smile and think of you. That's what you want. Your friend smile and think of you. Like he knows that you didn't let him alone. So this is the topic. So keep contact with your friend, and thank you.